Welcome to the 210 Podcast, Catalytic Conversations with your host, Nathan Buck. How can we and do we have the courage to overcome our blind spots? The conversation starts now.
You had to take it back until it was three different things: raw, pink, and bleeding.
So the thing that I've seen in leaders who continue to struggle, I've seen this everywhere that I've been in leadership. I've seen it in the marketplace, and I've seen it in local ministries and pastors. The leader who is not able to see themselves in relationship to Jesus, right? Like when we stand before Jesus and compare how flawed and how frail we are, as hard as that can be to our ego, it's also freeing. My flesh always has the ability to rise up, right? And sort of like be offended or whatever. But if you come and say, hey, Nate, like that was really not good. If I stand before Jesus with that comment and that feedback, there's a part of me that's just like, well, yeah, of course, right? Like, thank you. Thank you for pointing out something that I think is true. And now I know that I wasn't aware of that. But I'm grateful that that's one more area of insignificance of myself that I can invite Jesus to be significant in, right?
That's big. That's big.
But if I don't stand before Jesus and I think I'm all that in a bag of chips, to use your earlier phrase, like I can't receive the feedback. And what I see happen, yeah, and what I see happen with leaders is whether it's trauma, whether it's family dynamics, whether it's issues with their view of God, or like whatever it is, there's natural human experience stuff that drives some of the drift in people. But what I see is when we're not able to have that level of standing before Jesus and say, yeah, I'm flawed, or we give that lip service, like when you come to a moment where you must absolutely face your failure as a leader or face your failures as a follower of Jesus in your family, as a father, as a parent, as a pastor, as a leader, as whatever, when they come to that moment, it becomes blame. It becomes excuses. It becomes like one of two things typically happens. It's either it's all their fault and I'm going to fight.
Yep.
Or it's flight, right? I'm going to run because you didn't value me, and I'm not going to work with the people who are telling me the truth and actually love me. I'm going to blame them for hurting me, and I'm going to run over here, right? And I'm going to go find people who still like me, right? And what we're really saying is I'm going to find the people who will approve of those things that I like about myself, and they'll ignore those things that I need to surrender because they themselves don't really want to surrender those things. And it gives me such caution because I'm like, okay, first of all, there before the grace of God go I, right? I recognize that apart from the grace of God, I have my own places, right? We all have our own places where we want to dig in and we would say, not my fault, right?
Absolutely.
But I go back to something, man, this is one that you said years ago. I don't know if you remember this, but we were like, we were early 20s, I think.
Oh boy.
And it might have been Youth for Christ. It might have been Passion Play. Back in that era when you were Jesus, and it might have been the year that I was Pontius Pilate, which
perfect.
That was wonderful. But you came in one day and you had a bagel. And and I was asking you, like, I don't know why this was such a fascination, but I was sort of torn between butter versus cream cheese.
I know what you say.
Which back in the early 90s, that was such a rage because Philadelphia cream cheese was doing all the marketing and stuff, and it was like butter versus cream cheese. So maybe I was just a product of marketing. But I remember you walking in, and I was like, dude, you got a bagel? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, man, I love bagels. And I said, what do you have on it? And you were like, you kind of pulled back and you went, sometimes you need to eat a plain bagel, plain. And you took a big bite. And I was like, wow. It was just such a stupid comical moment. But I have come back to that so many times over the years. And it's funny how that was something between you and me that the Lord used to just kind of be a humorous way to look at it. My friends who are military, they have their own phrase, embrace the suck. Embrace the suck means there are things in life, there are things in situations, there are things on missions that are going to hurt, they're going
That's
to
it.
kill, they're
That's
going to
it.
be awful,
And to
but
let
the
it die.
only way is to go through it,
Yeah.
not to run away from it.
Oh my. A friend of mine was actually a 17-year special forces sniper,
Mm,
Afghanistan. So so he was also a medic, and he
mm,
said with burns especially,
mm,
you had to take it back until it was three different things: raw, pink, and bleeding.
ooh,
Because sometimes tissue looks viable,
yeah,
healthy, and fine,
yeah,
like the color is color is good at first, everything else looks fine. It looks relatively unaffected until you begin to probe it, examine it, and start to cut
yeah,
away at it, and then you see if there's still life in it. If
yeah.
there is not life, you must take it back to raw, pink, and
Wow,
bleeding, because then it can actually heal, right?
wow.
So I have been there recently again, and
Mm,
I say that and I almost want to like weep right now thinking about it. It hurts. It hurts.
mm,
So um judge yourself, right? To judge ourselves, because if we fail to judge ourselves, our peers will judge us for us.
mhm.
And one day ultimately we will stand before God and we will be judged. So the more times that we can get before God and
Yeah,
let him search our heart. Lord, would you search me and see if there's any kind of wicked or selfish desire away in me? God, clean me out to the bottom. Everything that's built in me, I want it to be gold. I want it to be you. I want it to be right, you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
because these generations after us in leadership, um, how can I take them somewhere I have not been in 25 years?
Yeah, that's true.
May we become contrite,
Mm.
go to our knees, and allow the Lord to scrape the depth of our very being.
Wow.
And Paul actually said, when I'm weak, then I am strong. In other words, capacity becomes available through my weakness.
Mhm.
God, increase my capacity through
Yeah.
my weakness so that your power may rest on me.
Mm.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I go back to what I shared earlier, the idea that we will not see the power of God
Oh,
until we know how to properly handle the glory of God.
yes.
And that is both in regards to our own measure of frailty, right? Like to be able to look at ourselves as frail, flawed human beings standing before an almighty God.
Hmm.
And that any good that happens in, through, or around me is His. Like that's
Is
not false humility. It's the recognition, like, no, I have no power to do these things on my own. That whatever giftedness, skill, ability that I've been given naturally, biologically, whatever, that's His too, right?
is
Like even that
all
is
is
His. Like it's just, and so I just that really resonates with me right now is, and I think partially because my recent prayer has been, God, I don't want to just speak, I don't want to just preach. I want to see you have the effect and have the impact that you want to have from that moment and in that moment. I
Hmm.
don't want to just go and give a good sermon, and I don't want to go and just do a good coaching session with somebody. I want to know that at the other side of that, I've been yielded enough that your power and your glory is intact and you've accomplished what you want to in that moment. And I think on it, if I'm really honest as a human being, that sounds, again, it sounds really noble. It sounds great because I can articulate it well. My heart is wicked, man. Like it is, it is what I deepest long for right now. But it is also what I really don't want to do. Right? Like if I'm honest, if I'm really honest, like I don't want to do the work, going back to what you said earlier about preparation. On a daily basis, I don't want to do that work of being in his presence and being that submitted and that humble and that aware of his closeness for those things. And so I wrestle then as I come to moments and I'm like, okay, Lord, I want you to do what you're going to do here and not have it be about me. And it's kind of the track in my head then like, okay, so where was that last week? Right? Where was that, an hour ago, right? When you were leaving the house. Where
Oh
was that when you were
my.
driving on the highway, yelling at the car in front of you? Like where?
Isn't it amazing that we can go straight from worship coming off of our lips to cursing the person who just passed us? It is wild. Jesus meant it whenever he said, um, "He that loses his life will find it."
Yeah.
that,
Lose his
that
life for my
kernel
sake.
must fall into the ground and die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Good
it's
stuff.
and he that tries to save his life will lose his life. Preservation. It seems like a great idea at the time, but
It
no,
is.
it's really not. Wow, thank you so much.